what he can admit to himself is how nice Olive's body is, especially her ass, her quote, round, shapely ass. How do you make your boobs feel so soft yet so firm? I love sleeping on them. As if he knew what I needed, his hands tightened on my ass and he thrust his hips right where I needed them. Pronto. Hey Katie, welcome to another spoiler spicy romance novel update. This one will not disappoint. To Love Jason Thorn by Ella Maise. Olive and Jason. Fun fact about Olive, she smells like fresh apples and flowers. Jason is Olivia's older brother's best friend, like from when they were kids. She has had the biggest crush on him since first time that they met when she was like 9 or something. Jason's kind of always viewed her as a sister though. In fact, okay, so when she was 8, she straight out asked Jason to marry her and he kind of like, no. Oh yeah, whatever. Jason lost his mom to suicide and his dad also died. Jason became a big Hollywood film actor. He lived a playboy lifestyle until Olive was about to graduate college. Jason and Olive reunited. Olive had written a story. It was a big hit on Amazon or something, like big seller. And Jason found out about this story and he's like, oh hey, it's Olive. Let's make your book into a movie. And of course, Jason was the lead actor. What Jason didn't know for a while was that Olive had written that book. The 2 main characters were them. His PR team is like, okay, Jason, you're having all of these lots of dirty sexcapades. You're getting yourself into like kind of murky waters because one of these dirty sexcapades was someone had caught him on video having sex with this random girl in an alley, like behind, he was at a club or something, and someone sold their phone footage of him having sex with this woman in an alley to, you know, the tabloids. Jason's publishers came up with the idea of, hey Jason, this is becoming a problem because you're starting to lose jobs. Hollywood doesn't really want you in their good movies right now, so how about you change your public image? I think it would be great if you got married. And it doesn't even have to be a real marriage, it can be a fake marriage, and the person, like the woman, would only have to just like live with you for maybe a year and then you can get divorced, but the whole time you need to act like you're in love with this person. Like they're on the hunt for a fake wife for Jason, and it actually takes Jason a little bit to like, I don't want a fake wife, you know? Enter Olive. Even though it had been like 8 years since they had seen each other, Olive and Jason were completely comfortable with each other when they met again, especially Jason. He would always call her my little one, or even sweetheart, because he saw her as, you know, like a little sister, but then little one slowly became like romantic, which I thought was a little weird. My little one, like, okay, once it transitioned into romantic, let's just drop the little one part and just, you know, something a little bit more grown up. Normal behavior for him was to hold her hand, get really close to her, kiss her cheek or her forehead or her temple, but it didn't click to him. He did those things because he was romantically interested in her. He just still thought that we were just really good childhood friends. So they were photographed a few times in public. From an outsider's point of view, this looked like he was totally in love with her, but Jason can't admit it to himself yet. What he can admit to himself is how nice Olive's body is, especially her ass, her quote, round, shapely ass. So Jason asks Olive to fake marry him to save his career, and she's shocked at first, but comes around and says yes. She wants this marriage to be real, but knows deep down it never will be, so the least she can do is help his career. But the way they act around each other, totally clear they're both in love with each other, and especially Jason is in love with Olive, and he gets kind of territorial when she's around other guys or around the paparazzi. Jason's publicist insists they make the actual marriage secret. The plan is she moves into Jason's house and then she goes with Jason to this London movie premiere. She gets an engagement ring and they don't tell anybody specifically. They just let the paparazzi see the ring on her finger and just them together and let the public put like 2 and 2 together. So on the red carpet, the crowd yelled for them to kiss and all Jason did was a peck on her lips. Olive and the crowd was super disappointed. Right after their secret wedding at Jason's house, Olive was left by herself, and she didn't like that she was by herself, so she drank a bunch of champagne, got herself really drunk, and ended up at her old apartment complaining that she really wanted to have sex with Jason, but he wouldn't have sex with her, no matter how much she threw herself at him. Jason eventually found Olive at the apartment, got really territorial with the ex-boyfriend. The ex-boyfriend's kind of like wanting to get back together with her, and her ex-boyfriend, I think, also lived in the house. And so when Jason brought Olive back to his house, she tried to come on to him and like force Jason to have sex, like really begging Jason to have sex with her. But A, he didn't want to have sex with her while she was drunk. B, didn't really think that, oh, you don't know what you're saying. And he is starting to realize that he has feelings for her, because it's really hard for him to say no to her. So he compromised. The most that he did was made her come with his hand. So he gave her some little hand action. The next PR stage was for them to have a photo shoot together to put in some publication. And they put Olive in this really skimpy outfit. They told them to pretend to be in love, but they didn't need to pretend to be in love. They just like grabbed each other, looked at each other's eyes. Then they went to a cast party where Olive sang an Ed Sheeran song in front of everybody. And Jason was so captivated by her singing this Ed Sheeran song, he had to go up on the stage and kiss her. And this time he kissed her for real in front of everybody. People got photos. After that kiss, he took her home and they had sex all over. That kiss was so powerful. It turned into kitchen counter sex, which turned into bed sex, which turned into morning after sex. Like, this was a marathon. After this, they would not be separated. When they were near each other, they would both get so distracted, they always ended up having sex. He would invite her to the set, the movie of her book that he was filming. She would stay in his double-decker trailer. Of course, he has a double-decker trailer. It was also challenging for Olive with all of this public attention, the attention that Jason would get from girls and paparazzi. It was hard for a little bit for her to adjust. One night out, Jason took Olive and a few of her friends to a club. Jason knew the owner. They got a private room with their own private bartender. It started as a fun time, but it turned into not a fun time. Olive had invited some of her old roommates. Well, one of the old roommates brought one of her friends. So this old roommate, Shar, took Olive aside, confessing to Olive that she had slept with Olive's ex-boyfriend while they were still together. Shar still wanted to be with this guy. He seemed to still be in love with Olive, and this really upset Olive. So Olive went to the bathroom to compose herself again, and Heidi followed her. And while Heidi was trying to console Olive on this information, Heidi got a text from one of her on again off again booty calls that she's falling in love with him, that he had been in a motorcycle accident and he was in the hospital. So Olive went with Heidi, left her phone and her purse. Jason had no idea where Olive had gone. The friend of Char's, they had spiked Jason's drink and took pictures of this woman all grinding on his lap, making it look like he was cheating on Olive, and make Olive second guess that, oh yeah, this marriage was fake. He does want to be with her, and he is totally in love with her. When Olive's still at the hospital, she sees this picture. Olive is so overwhelmed with all of these things that have been happening in her life so quickly. She flies back home to her parents' house, and Jason can't get a hold of her. He wakes up the next morning remembering nothing of that night besides kissing Olive when they had first gotten to the club. His assistants inform him, pretty sure your drink was spiked because this girl was grinding on you and you look totally out of it. He finds out that Olive went back home, immediately flies back home, and he has to explain everything, apologize to her dad and to her brother, and confesses that he is in love with Olive and they can be happily married now. And to be all extra sweet, on the last day of filming Olive's book, he pulls some strings to get Olive to be one of the stand-ins for the main female character that's supposed to represent her anyway. You only see her back, so they just put a wig on her, so you can only see Jason's face. His character is really emotional and this, and they're totally make out. It's her he's making out with and not the actress. When they see the final cut of the movie, only they will know that scene was them really kissing and they are really in love. So sweet.